Hello, what is going on, guys? Hockey Guy 1 here. Welcome to my review of Aladdin 2019. So, Aladdin 2019 is directed by Guy Ritchie and stars Will Smith, Mena Most, Naomi Scott, Marwan Kenzari, and Alan Tudyk. So the story is about Aladdin, who's just kind of street rat, and until he kind of met Jasmine disguised, and just wants it's the genie and wants to try and impress her and to end up marrying her, and that's basically it. So for my positives, I do think Aladdin and Jasmine's relationship was still done very well in this movie. I kind of like how their characters are different in this, rather than just being the same. You know, Aladdin isn't that much different, but Jasmine is definitely different. I like how instead of she's just kind of just there, and in this one, I kind of like how she's more active and wants to marry someone, rather than just no one where she doesn't really want to marry anyone. I think that's done pretty well in this one, and how different it is. So most of the songs that came back in this movie are done pretty well. There were a few that I didn't like, but the ones that I did like was One Jump Ahead. It was still good in this one, and A Whole New World was really good in this one. I don't think it's as good as the original one, but I still think they did it really well. So I can give the movie that. Jasmine sings this new song called Speechless, and I think it fits the moment very well. She doesn't want to just stay silent anymore, and just wants to say what's going on. And so I think that was a really good song that fits the moment very well, and it was sung very well by Naomi Scott. And I do think Naomi Scott and Mena Most did pretty good. They have some pretty good chemistry with it, so it makes the love story done very well. And I do like the looks of Agrabah. I do like how it looks very it is different from the original looks, but I do like this new look for sure. I think it's a good set design. So as for my negatives, there are plenty. The story is basically just the same as the original, which I'm fine with. I don't really care, but the plot doesn't really work when the plot around it is very bad. It's kind of a mess because of how badly paced it was. Like the pacing and the plot was just really bad. There was so much filler scenes that they added in for no reason, and it just made the movie much longer than it should have. So I just think that's a big problem. Another thing they added in was Genie and Jasmine's handmaiden having a love story, which I think is just awfully written. They just kind of see each other a few times and then get together in the end. I think that it's just ridiculously forced, and just I don't think they really need that. And it's not very well written, and it's just completely forced because they don't really develop it very well. And the genie as a character, I honestly didn't really like him in this movie. He's not the best. The jokes barely ever hit. But the main problem with that isn't necessarily his character. I just think he was miscast because Will Smith, I don't think, is a good genie. The delivery of the jokes just don't really make it funny, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Because his delivery is just really bad, and especially since he cannot sing, which unlike Robin Williams, so it just does not work for this role, in my opinion. And it just seems like for the most part of this movie, he's really just playing himself. I actually didn't really like Jafar in this movie. As a villain, he's not really as intimidating, but once again, kind of like the genie, the main problem with him is just that he was miscasted. Marwan Kenzari was not a good choice for him at all. He's not as intimidating. His voice doesn't really sound as menacing saying it doesn't really sound like a villain at all. He sounds completely uninterested for the most part. And just, this is laugh, this isn't very good. So, that was just the main problem with Jafar. Just, if he was casted fine, he would have been fine, but Marwan Kenzari just does not work for him. Sultan, I feel like, is just a really bad character in this movie. Like he doesn't really do as much in this movie. Like, he doesn't really have a bond with Jasmine like he did in the original, which I get they're doing something different, but I don't really like how they just kind of sidelined him in this movie, because it kind of feels like they did that because he's barely in it. So Iago's character, like, they did something completely different. They tried making him like a regular parrot, which I get. They want to do something different once again, but I don't feel like making him like a real parrot really works for this story. I mean, I feel like as a comedic relief, he works so much better, and just, it doesn't really make me laugh in this one, because he just kind of says the same thing as Jafar, and it just doesn't really do as much in this. Kind of like the Sultan, he just kind of sidelined. He just, so I will admit he's done a little bit better than the Sultan, because at least he does do some things like spy in everyone. But when I still think that he's basically a sideline, because he doesn't really do as much until the climax. Jasmine's handmaiden is just so bad in this movie. I mean, she wasn't in the original one, and forget that they're trying to do something new with new character, but her character is just so bad. I mean, it's just not really developed at all. I mean, her relationship with Jasmine is not really developed, and just, it seems like, and just helping each other, and it's not very well developed. As well as the other thing that's written about her, like I mentioned earlier, how she had a love story with the genie, that was also very poorly developed, and her character in general is just poorly developed and really bad. There's another character called Hakeem, who's just kind of there. I mean, and he does make one huge decision, but honestly, his character is very weak. The big decision makes him seem like he's an important character, but he's not really an important character at all. So, I mean, he just kind of does one thing in the climax. Don't get me wrong, like I said earlier, most songs are actually pretty good in this movie, but Friend Like Me, on the other hand, I don't feel like it's good in this version. I mean, Will Smith, his acting in this, like the way he sings it, is just not very good. I mean, he does have energy, but it doesn't sound good, because his singing is just not very good at all. And this version's scene as well is just kind of just a bunch of bad CGI in it, so it doesn't really help that matter. As well as Prince Ali was also really bad in this version. I mean, and Will Smith once again was not singing it at all. His singing is just really bad in this song as well, and it's just really poorly acted by him, and the song is just, it's not anywhere near as good as it is in the original. And then there was Arabian Nights, which was also sang by Will Smith at the beginning. That was really bad as well. I mean, it just doesn't really sound the same way as it does in the original, and that's not really the major problem with the song. It's just that Will Smith singing, it's just not good. Like, when he tries to sing, it just sounds like him just saying stuff, because it's just Will Smith in his normal voice, just in a little bit higher pitch, because that's basically Will Smith. He just plays himself. And the visual effects in this movie are just really bad, especially the genie's design. I mean, the genie's design, it's just so bad. It literally just looks like a floating Will Smith just blew. I mean, that's just a really bad design, and it looks very cheap, and it honestly looks like CGI that was done in the early 2000s. It just looks really bad, and just it could have looked so much better if they used more of the budget on it, but it's just so bad. To me, Iago and the Boo's design are just really bad, and they had to do extra with them because they couldn't really put actors. They had to put in puppet designs for it, and it just looks really bad. And I mean, the movements aren't really that fun, and the design just looks painfully bad and to look at, and looks really cheap and lazy. The climax of this movie was basically a giant Iago chasing Aladdin and Jasmine, who were on the magic carpet, and I really did not like this climax. It was really underwhelming. I mean, the way it's written just doesn't really make any sense. Like, in the original, it was kind of written to outsmart him, which is what kind of made it so well done despite I did think it was a little long, but a little fast, but I still liked how they outsmarted far. But here, it doesn't really feel like they really outsmarted him. It was just kind of a giant chase scene, and then he ended up wishing to become a genie and came in. And it's not really a good climax at all. So overall, Aladdin 2019 it's a bad movie and a bad remake, and even with the enjoyable moments, there's still a lot of flaws with the film. So I'm going to give Aladdin a 4 out of 10. So that was my review of Aladdin 2019. What are your thoughts on Aladdin 2019? Tell me in the comments below. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.